All right, it is Monday, March 9th, 8:30 a.m., and I have an appointment called Motivated Monday, and I am just getting it started. And today, talking about fear and mindset for hard markets, right? Reframing fear, market noise versus reality, controlling your inputs, right? So when you start something new, and I'm gonna open today with my little opener, right? When you start something new, fear shows up fast. You're afraid to make calls, afraid to knock doors, or afraid someone will say no, or worse, maybe laugh at you, right? When I started it in real estate, all of that fear was real. The fear of rejection, the fear of looking stupid, the fear of doing the wrong thing. And here's the part that matters for you: fear only wins when it's bigger than your reason for moving forward. You might be afraid now, afraid of a hard market, afraid of failing, afraid of putting in the work and not seeing the results. But the real question isn't whether fear shows up. The question is what matters more than that fear. For me, the fear of missing out on my daughter's childhood, the fear of not building the life I wanted for my family. That was bigger than rejection. That was bigger than all my fears. And when your reason becomes stronger than your fear, something shifts. Fear stops being a sign, it becomes a signal to pay attention and to move forward anyway. Because building the life you want isn't about eliminating fear, it's about deciding what matters enough to walk through it. All right, Miss Fati, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am tired and not enjoying this daylight savings time at all.
Yeah, no, it definitely threw me off when I woke up and the it was still dark out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So today we're talking about fear and mindset for hard markets. Maybe reframing fear. Um, market noise versus reality and controlling your inputs. So we can start with the question, I guess. Do you have um any fears that might hold back what you do when it comes to your business, your life, anything in general?
Yeah, honestly, sometimes like being a newer agent and not having gone through multiple transactions, sometimes I do get nervous.
Hmm.
I'm like, I want to be able to have all the answers for them, or at least seem like I know what I'm talking about. Because, like, the other day, I was talking to someone who I was referred to, and she was telling me how she is on her third home. So I kind of got nervous because I'm
Hmm.
like, maybe I was like, oh my God, maybe she knows more than I do. She probably knows about the transactions and everything more than I do because she's had three transactions when it came to purchasing her home. So usually the value add speech is like my property management background that I use.
Hmm.
But with her, I was just like I had a whole script, I had a whole like, you know, not a whole script, but like a whole experience that I created. But I guess my
Hmm.
experience that I created was for more people that have probably had done a couple, not three. So in that moment I was kind of nervous, but we carried on with the conversation.
Yeah, you got to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I mean, like fear is normal and natural for everyone, and that's something we have to accept, and how it's how we move through it and how we navigate it. That ultimately will help us be successful or not. So are there any fears or is there a market story you are telling yourself right now about the current market or your business?
No, because
That,
there's opportunity in every market.
absolutely, and I think that's a great mindset to have. Really is an opportunity in any market. It's just the market doesn't dictate your level of success. It's just that dictates the actions you need to take in the current market to make sure that you are successful. So wow, okay, so no fears, all right? Then I guess we're good to go here on this call. No. So you say, since it doesn't affect you and there are, opportunities in every market, how does that, like when you say there are opportunities in every market, how does that affect your actions then?
It doesn't necessarily affect my actions so much. It affects my conversations that I have with people.
Hmm.
It affects it in the sense of when I talk to them, I'm like, hey, I know these are scary times, but there are people still making money. Like,
Hmm.
it's just a matter of taking a different approach. So the hurdle would be just getting people past the fear point to see that there is an opportunity and to help, like, just for them to be even willing and open to see the fact that there is a different, that there's opportunity in this market because people are
Hmm.
scared and people don't know what's coming next. And you'll have people that are like, I need to know if we're going to war because I'm not going to pay rent this month, you know? So, so it's just about getting people to be open to even having the conversation when they're so scared about there being a potential of a World War III and with, with politics and everything that's going on. So, I would say
Hmm.
it's more of a challenge than a fear. Um, to get people to, see the opportunities.
And ultimately, yeah, you have to say, hey, there it will be, even with something that catastrophic happens, we should assume that there will be something on the other side of that, right? And that so that life does go on, and however it changes, you still need, in our industry, you still need a place to live. Any industry, people need a place to live, no matter what you're doing, right? Like that's one of those, the hierarchy of needs. I believe it's food, then shelter, are the first two when it comes to what we need. So yeah, I think getting it's not just our fears; it's the fears of those that we talk to when it comes to what we do in life, and it comes to moving forward. But one of the things to think about too is like the market should affect your actions, and just in the sense that, for instance, in a slow market, you need to if you need to increase the number of people you speak to, right, to find the business, right? Because like let's say in a normal market, you need to talk to 50 people to find one deal. Well, then in a slower market, you need to probably up that to 70 to 100 people per deal. So that, in a sense, should affect your actions, not necessarily affect, hey, oh, it's a slow market, so I'm not going to do the work because I'm afraid, it's going to be a hard market, it's going to be difficult, and then it just compounds, and a slow market becomes a market that forces someone out of the business, right? And so that can affect the actions that people take. Um, so, is there anything that, since it's just you and me, anything you want to talk about when it comes to the subject at hand, or just in general today? Because hey, we got a minute here.
Well, for me, I feel like a lot of the information that you guys give on this on Motivated Monday is really helpful, but it's just the implementation part, right? So I remember last week we were talking about like time blocking
Hmm.
and not allowing like because I have a lot of schedule changes and other things that I handle, so not allowing those things to get in the way. So
Hmm.
I guess one thing that I did was I showed up to the exactly what to say. Um, at first I was
Yes,
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. At first I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta clean these dishes. But I was like, you know what? These dishes can wait 30 minutes.
I love it. I
uh,
love it. Hey, did they
so
go
that was a
anywhere?
win. Huh?
Did the dishes go anywhere?
I feel like one of the plates were about to grill legs and jump off the counter. But I was
Unfun-
like, yeah, I think it was just gonna like run off the counter and just splat onto the ground. But I was like, you know what? You can wait.
Yeah, unfortunately, they did not clean themselves.
So they didn't. I thought they would.
Oh yeah, good for you. No, and I think like being on a call like that, I think you don't. And let's talk about that, right? When you've done it before, right? Because you've been on the call a couple of times. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel nervous? Do you not? Is it uncomfortable to go through um the repetitions and the work on the exactly what to say call?
It's uncomfortable because it's different from like my vernacular and the way that I speak.
Hmm.
So just being cognizant of that and just switching up and implementing those words
Hmm.
it's just getting over that uncomfortable hurdle and just finding my flow. Like in all things, for me, the one thing that I struggle with is finding flow. I have to find flow and like I'll have it down packed. So coming up with my
Yeah.
own way of saying it and finding my own flow and getting the essence of what we're like learning and stuff like that. Like once I have that down packed, like it's easy flow for me.
Hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, because you see,
I've learned.
one of the women that was on the call, right? She kept apologizing. It was her first time on the call. I think maybe she had been on once before. And it was like, we're like, hey, this is no need to apologize. Like, this is like we are training. That is the whole point of this call, is to get better. So, you're gonna fumble through it. It's gonna feel awkward and difficult. And I remember the first time I got on the call with Maya, I didn't want to jump right in and do it. I'm like, no, and now it's just I have fun with it. And again, and that helps me absolutely in the conversations that I have with my clientele. Now, obviously, I've had thousands upon thousands of conversations at this point, so that also makes it easier for me to be comfortable. And again, one of the things about that is in training is we say, hey, um, this is the place where you get better, right? You don't want to be figuring it out when you're in the listing appointment or the buyer's appointment. So what else? What else is on your mind? Is there anything else we can chat about today? Oh, wait, actually, no, no. Implementation. Let's go back to that. You said implementation is a weakness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in time blocking. So what steps can you focus on this week for implementation and time blocking?
Um, Clearly defining.
Clearly defining. Okay. Okay. Can you start with one day of time blocking? Or what about one block per day? Say, I'm going to specifically say this time block on these days. Maybe it's not every day. Maybe it's 3 days of the week, right? Say, hey, these 3 days going to be doing this action specifically for my business to help it move forward. Is that something you can implement?
um, I definitely just need to get better at that because one thing that really helps is when you guys host classes, like the prospecting school, the exactly what to say, like the Monday motivation,
Hmm.
because that's already
Hmm.
on the schedule and like that's a calendar and there's somebody else that's like also holding you accountable, not holding you
Hmm.
accountable, but there's somebody else that's also going to be there. It just makes it easier because then you're like, oh, so like it's already a calendar that's been created. So
Yeah.
I can, like in my mind, I could be like, okay, like this is already on a calendar. This is happening consistently weekly. Like I can show up
Hmm.
to this. And even if I'm like exactly what to say, like typically I'd be cleaning dishes, but I was like, no, the dishes can wait.
Excuse me. Excuse
And
me.
like
Ooh.
prospecting school, like prospecting school is really helpful because it's a consistent day. Like, I mean, it was, but it's on Thursdays, and I know like on Thursdays, this is what I'm gonna do. So
Uh-huh.
I guess I don't know. I need to sit down and either create like something with someone so that we're holding each other accountable because it definitely makes it easier when you have it like that.
It does, and I really no. I enjoy the prospecting school. I think prospecting school for anybody who watches this, yeah, we set a whole day aside to prospect, and we meet one more. I
Oh,
am
but
having my face is exploding. Anyway, yeah, we have a day where we sit down, we prospect, and we um we'll then meet at regular intervals during that day. And I already spoke with Ben about making sure, hey, if he leads one, I'll lead one. That gives us at least two a month for prospecting. So, and it is accountability is a big, big deal, and so if you know that accountability is a weakness for you, or the implementation is a weakness, but your implementation become better when there's accountability. It says, all right, great. How do you start making sure you have the accountability set up for the implementation? Maybe that's helpful.
Yeah. Well, I guess I just need to find someone to hold myself accountable to. And
Hmm.
then also set up, and I think like sometimes we get excited and we're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. But
Hmm.
it's important that although you get excited and you want to write it all down and do everything all at once, to also be realistic with yourself and pace yourself, because like I could sit here and time block everything and can hold it consistently, but because it's something that's very new, there I might get exhausted, or I might get, you know, like I might lose the momentum. So I'm happy with the 8:30, exactly what to say, the prospecting school, and the Monday motivation. But maybe perhaps I could add one more thing so that I can consistently, gradually add on to it instead of doing like
Hmm.
10 things all at once.
Yeah, and I think no, I mean those are great, right? I mean, with between this and the exactly what to say, those are great for building the skill sets. And then, of course, implementation is prospecting school, right? So I would feel like continuing adding the implementation because we can learn. There are people that will learn, right? Take the class, and never implement. Whereas, like, you learn by doing. Um, so if there are things like if there is something like the prospecting school where it's being implemented, then that might be the best place to do it. Learn by doing. You don't learn to. Like I've said it before and heard it before, and you don't learn to drive a parked car, right? I mean, you can learn that yeah, you got to hit the turn signal and do all the things, but until it's moving, you really don't know what you're doing. So, no, good job.
What
And
would you
and like you
recommend?
said, well, no, like you said, pacing yourself too, and not putting too much on your plate at once. Because yeah, it's almost like the new shiny coin, right? Like lots of new shiny coins, it's easy to get distracted by them all. Um, so I think the 100% doing prospecting school and us, focusing on saying, hey, let's even when it's not there, let's try and start implementing that ourselves, going in and continue it and keeping it going, whether that's every Thursday, it's on our calendars to say we're prospecting this day. I think that's a great idea, honestly. Um, so, but I think Ashley she might have one of her lead gen days, maybe getting in on those, right? Especially if she is your coach. So something like that might be helpful, or even if just partnering up with someone, and saying, hey, let's sit down together and make sure we're both prospecting from this time to this time, and reporting to each other that we're doing it. Something like that. I don't know, just an idea.
Hmm.
Cool. All right, but I think that was spot on when you said pace yourself. That's a big deal.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right. Well, any other thoughts?
Mm, nope.
Nope. All right. Well, then I'll finish out with the closing thoughts for the day. So here's what I want you to think about when this call ends. Hard markets don't stop people. Stories do. The story you tell yourself. The story that says this market is impossible. The story that says no one is buying. The story that says the world is ending, or maybe I should wait until things get easier. But markets don't control your actions. Your mindset does. So ask yourself honestly, what story are you telling yourself about this market right now? And more importantly, how is that story shaping the way you show up every day? Because when you change the story, you change the actions. Instead of fear meaning stop, fear becomes a reminder to pay attention, to focus on what you can control, to control your inputs, to keep producing when other people pull back. And that's where opportunity lives. Not in perfect conditions, but in the moments you decide to move forward anyway. So today, take the next action, not because the market feels easy, but because the life you're building is bigger than the fear standing in front of you. And that's how you win in the long game. That's all I got.
You should do a you should do like a signature outro like, and this is Tony Toich signing out.
I will work on that. I could use some help figuring out my closing. Good night and good luck. That's a famous newscaster sign off.
You should do that.
Good
It would
night,
have
good
been good
morning, and
night.
good more. Should it be good morning and good luck? Like a
Yes,
little flip on that. Good
exactly.
morning and good luck. All right.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right. Good morning and good luck. All right. Awesome.
Wait, you
And
gotta
should
start.
maybe,
Go ahead.
huh?
What?
Oh, oh, well, and should we change it though? Instead of good luck. I mean, well, but if we were trying to do a shout out to that, right? Like, it's got to keep it the good luck. But like, right, we don't believe in luck because luck is where opportunity meets preparation. Um, so anyway, but I like where your head's at. I think there should definitely be a signature outro every single time. Yes, I love it. I love that idea.
This is Tony Toich. Good morning and good luck. This is Tony Toich signing off. Oh man. Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, Miss Fati, I appreciate your consistency with being here. It makes me feel like I'm not just here to hear myself talk.
Well, no, thanks. Thanks for being here, Tony, and for hosting these Monday motivations. It's not hard. I mean, it's very hard to be motivated on Mondays, but you do it
especially after
consistently.
especially after daylight savings.
Yeah, no, for sure. I woke up and I honestly was like, oh, it's still 4 o'clock. No.
Yeah, it was dark out this morning. So, all right, talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.